Hello. Today in this broadcasting, we are going to learn about the classification of all living things and taxonomy. My name is Anji Reddy Nalamalapu, National Board Certified Teacher. Agenda. In this particular broadcasting, we are examining this classification of living things, and the next one is taxonomy. The last one is talking about the assessment. Why we got to classify this animal? The main purpose of this classification of all living things is to organize all the discovered animals in certain manner so that we can go back and study them. That's the purpose. The next one is giving organism a standard name, which means the name, the animal, wherever it lives across the globe, we have a name, particular name to identify the animal. That's why we call that as a standard name. So the scientists from the different countries can talk about the same animal without confusion. That is the purpose we are having this classification of all living things. This is very important chapter in the science. Now, all organisms are classified into one of these following six kingdoms. There are six kingdoms, that means there are six kind of different groups that each living thing fall under that. The first one is called Archaebacteria, which is the bacteria that live in a harsh conditions are called Archaebacteria. The next one is called Eubacteria. Bacteria that live in a normal condition are called Eubacteria. The next one is the Protista group. This one is called organism that made up of eukaryotic cells are called Protista. The next one, number 4, is fungi. The fungi means mushrooms and mold all come under this category. The next one, or the fifth one, is called plantae, which means all plants. It doesn't matter the plant that live in a desert, that live in a forest, that live in a rainy. It doesn't matter whether all kind of plants come under this kind of plantae. And also bushes and the flowers. When we're talking about the flowers, they also come under this plantae group. The last one, or the sixth kingdom, is called animalae. This animalae means all animals, including the tiny microorganisms, also come under this animalae group. The next one is taxonomy. Taxonomy is the science of naming, describing, and classifying organisms, including plants, animals, microorganisms of the world, is a taxonomy. So, who brought this taxonomy is right here, the Carl Linnaeus. Who is the Carl Linnaeus? Carl Linnaeus is a Swedish botanical taxonomist who was the first person to formulate and adhere to the uniform system for defining and naming the word plants and animal. Because it's plants and animal, that's the word he worked on it first. He was in from between 1707 to 1778. When we look at this taxonomy, for example, we see one of these red fox. It's a local name, somewhere we call it as a red fox. But we want to know the scientists across the globe want to talk about this particular animal, regardless of what this animal have named in that region. We need to have a scientific name, or also we call the binomial system, two names for the animals, which is this red fox having a different name. Let's see it go over to this, how they got this name. In this taxonomy, the first level is called domain. The domain, you see the wide range, that means so many animals. What are the so many animals? All the living things that have eukaryotic cells that have a nucleus and a membrane surround it, called eukaryotic. So this eukaryotic, the cell have a nucleus and a membranes around it. So the any living thing that have a cell and membranes on it come under this section. For example, you see this living thing, which is a red fox, what we're calling. This has made up initially from a tiny cells. They formed this together that made an organism. Some organisms made a body part. The body parts together make a full animal. So that the Eubacteria, all animals, this come under this Eubacteria. So the next one is kingdom. What is this one we're talking about? This is an animal. It's not a plant. It's not a flower. So that this come under this kingdom of animal. The next one is phylum. Phylum Chordata. So the chordata is kind of a backbone that have on it. See that it has a backbone on it. Phylum Chordata. In this backbone, some animals like a dog, fox, wolf, these kind of animals, they have a backbone and they have a tail on it. So these kind of animals come under this phylum Chordata. The next class is the class Mammella. Remember that we talk about that Mammella means mammals. All the animals that give a birth to the offspring, they give a milk to their offspring. Also, they have a fur or a hair on them come under this Mammella. This particular animal here is a mammal. It gives the offspring, it gives a milk, it has a hair on it. So that it come under this mammallas in the taxonomy. The next one is order, carnivora. Why we call the carnivora? Next we're going to look at this, what this animal eat about, what this animal food is about. The animal, this particular animal, live off of eating the meat, so that it comes under the carnivora order. The next one is family, Canidae. It's a dog-like animal. All the animals that look like a dog kind of shape, they come under this family of Candidae. The next one is genus. The genus, this particular animal genes have the Valpus, so that this animal come under the genus Valpus. The final one is species. Valpus. Valpus is the dual name or scientific name for this red fox. So again, this name of the animal is Valpus valpus. Okay. Now, assessment. Once we study those things, the classification and the taxonomy system, we're going to take a little assessment. But this assessment is going to be little easy on you. Just what we're doing here is develop a timeline. What timeline you got to develop? You pick any chapter that related to the cell, you talk about it, or you even take about the taxonomy, or you talk about the binomial system. Take a one particular topic what you are interested to work on it. And then what you do, you make a timeline. Time of your choice, you make a timeline on it. I gave an example how to do this. Here, the example assessment is a cell theory timeline. I made the cell theory. What the first thing happened in the cell theory was in 1665, the cell was discovered by Robert Hooke. So that is the beginning of the timeline for this particular cell theory. And the next one, what happened, the major incident in this cell theory is in 1674. The microscope was invented by Otto von Leeuwenhoek. This is a big boost to the biologists in order to observe the animal, especially the animals that are the tiny. Is easy to observe because the microscope helps those animals bigger size when you look into the microscope, so that the scientist can easily observe the even tiny animal. Then they put them in a particular classification or study on them. That's why it has a very important role. Again, 1674, Leeuwenhoek, who was found this microscope. The next important thing in cell theory is 1839. Theodore Schumann realized that all animals are made up of cells. The first one who find out that all animals are made up of these cells is Theodore Struan, is the one in 1839. The last one we talk about in this timeline is in 1839, Rudolf Roach said all cells came from another cell. That's what he is the one who find out. Now we see the mitosis, meiosis, and cell division, and all the stuff. In the upcoming chapters, we're going to talk about that information. So this is the little assessment sample that I have provided for you on the cell theory timeline. So using this sample, you may be able to choose your own chapter or topic of interest and develop a timeline and submit your completed assignment. Either it may be a picture, type, draw, whatever the convenient for you. Email it back to me through the canvas or email address, or drop the copy uh, during my office hours at the school. I will pick it up and give you proper grade for you. Thank you for watching this video. Have a good one.